amplified unit. Allow me to spend this cold open on my boy Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, because what we got last night is completely and utterly unacceptable and disappointing. They sacrificed the big payoff at WrestleMania in favor of storyline. Sucks for WrestleMania, it's a letdown for WrestleMania, but in the long run, we could get something really epic. But we all can agree it has to begin big time last night on Raw. Because how that match ended at WrestleMania was just pathetic. So bro, you had to have something huge last night to ease the frustrations from your audience, including BC, and this is a pro Bray Wyatt channel. We love Bray Wyatt on this channel. We know the genius that he is. We know the star that he is. But you gotta do something big out of the gates to explain what the fuck we watched at WrestleMania. And we had some awesome shit. Him disintegrating back into the Fiend, the Jack in the Box, Alexa on top of that box. That Brody Lee tribute. Man, there was a lot of good. And then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, this dude gets an RKO, and he's flat on his back looking up at the lights for a 3 count. All this time away was just to eat an RKO loss to Randy Orton. That is unacceptable. This has nothing to do with being buried, either. I can't stand when wrestling fans just pass it off as somebody's buried. Sometimes it's just not that simple. Somebody like Bray Wyatt is literally one of the highest merchandise sellers. He is literally the highest clicked video on WWE's YouTube channel, consistently. You watch when he goes out there how many cell phones are out, how many people are in awe. Consistently. He was the only holy shit chant during the entire 2 nights of WrestleMania. His segment. Him and Alexa Bliss garnered the most attention, the most eyeballs. They captivate. Yet time after time, Vince McMahon has this dude looking up at the lights. If being the highest merchandise seller, or one of, if having the most views, captivating the most out of anybody else, is being buried, I'm pretty sure 90+% of that roster wants to be buried right now. Because that's the fucking truth, bro. Ask Ricochet what buried is. If Ricochet was one of the highest merchandise pushers, if Ricochet's videos and matches were getting the highest clicks on WWE.com or this platform, if Ricochet had all those cell phones out and everybody was talking about this dude, if he was always in these big-time pay-per-view matches, you wouldn't be saying Ricochet's buried. Doesn't matter the amount of fucking losses. This is bigger than being buried. Bray Wyatt is a top star. This is bigger. You're letting Vince McMahon off the hook by saying he's buried. Because then you just pass it off. Oh, bring up Tommaso Ciampa. Bring up Johnny Gargano. Bring up Karrion Kross. After a month, after a week, we'll just say they're buried and we'll move on. You gotta hold Vince McMahon accountable. This is a superstar. This isn't just some fucking Ricochet. Which is bad enough. This is a guy who's pushing that merch. A guy who's getting those clicks on this platform. A guy who is captivating. A guy who is getting holy shit chants. And you consistently book him flat on his back. This isn't a dude who's just buried. This is a superstar who Vince McMahon is doing filthy. Not dirty. Filthy! Sometimes, guys, I'm gonna be truthful with you as I always am. More honest than anybody in this fucking community. Sometimes I just wish he was being buried. Just buried. Because then I would have closure. I put up the good fight. Because I know this guy's worth. I know his brilliance, and I know what he brings to the fucking table! Sometimes I wish he was just fucking buried because it would be closure. Just sit at catering with fucking Ricochet and Ninja Tozawa and Drew Gulak and Grand Metalik, R-Truth, and whoever else is chasing around that 24/7 toy championship. The catering crusaders. Sometimes I wish Bray was just, because then we could just fucking move on and not be so frustrated. I wish I could join the sheep and say, Bray's buried. But it's not that simple. Bray is a fucking superstar. No, you see, the truth is, Bray's not buried. The truth is, Vince McMahon does not want another star that is going to be bigger than the company. That's the fucking truth. The truth is, Vince McMahon wants to be the one to have his finger, the pulse on you. You see, the Fiend wasn't created by Vince. That's a Bray Wyatt creation. And Vince McMahon can't stand when he doesn't create something. This is his vision. So as long as he can get money from it, he'll put him in the storylines. He know when Bray Wyatt gets a microphone, ain't nobody fucking better. Edge, maybe? Edge and Paul Heyman? That's the top 3. So he knows he can push storylines. But when it comes to the big fucking match, Vince McMahon knows that he cannot have Bray go over. Because if he does, especially consistently, because this dude will be larger than fucking life to any casual that's just sitting on their fucking couch with their hand half in the Dorito bag. No, you see, Vince McMahon knows exactly how valuable this dude is. He knows how brilliant this guy is, and he knows the star that he could be. And Vince doesn't want that. He can't have another Warrior. He can't have another CM Punk. He is now going to control that company, and anybody that gets top tier status is going to be handpicked by Vince McMahon himself. A certain criteria. Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair. That's it. Bray Wyatt, he will suck any amount of money he can, but he will make sure that he doesn't get it to the next fucking tier. And that's what's pathetic. I wish he was just buried, bro. But he's a fucking superstar. Getting treated like shit. This guy lives his fucking character. You go on a fucking social with anything to do with Bray, and he's still telling the story. Do you know how special that is? This shit you see is his creation, bro. Put some fucking respect on this dude's name. But we let Vince off the hook. He's buried, and then we move on, right? We all talk about how special Bray Wyatt is and what the fuck he is doing and how it captivates us. And then when he loses flat on his back, we just say, he's buried, and we move on. And we just shit on the dude. I take a different approach. I back this motherfucker. I will speak up, speak loud, and I will hold the old bastard in Stamford, Connecticut accountable and responsible until shit changes. Because now, you want the fucking truth? Now we're in a position where this dude cannot lose the rest of this year. Literally. Literally. Wins and losses do fucking matter, you know. Oh, but Vince knows that all too well. He's owning the mic, he's owning the storylines. If he starts picking up one win after the other, this could get out of control. If Bray and him ever have an argument down the line and he wants to leave, you can't have that! You can't have another CM Punk situation! You can't have another Ultimate Warrior situation! You can't have another Stone Cold situation! When Stone Cold took his ball and went home. Just like Warrior, just like Punk. And now Vince McMahon fears that, so he cannot have somebody larger than the company unless he hand-picked them for certain criteria. Again, Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, prime examples. That is bullshit. This dude is sitting right in your fucking company, in your lap, and you can utilize him to the moon where he should be. The storyline that this dude was in and has been in, being gone for months. And bro, you have him come back and need an RKO! An RKO! One! And you have him look up at the lights, you son of a bitch! The fuck out of here, bro! How dare you do this dude filthy like that? That takes a great deal of incompetence to have a guy like that in your company and have him take losses like that. And I'm sure Bray Wyatt stands up for his character and himself time after time. He probably wins a lot of battles with Vince and his producers and the agents. But I'm sure when it's said and done, when it comes to who's taking the fucking pin, that's the old man. And there's only one person, Vince McMahon. One RKO, bro. I've seen this dude take 76 stomps. I've seen him do beautiful no-sell spots. And I'm a big advocate of old school selling. But if there's ever a character to no-sell shit, it's Bray. And he's had beautiful spots. But one RKO and this dude can't get back up? You have him losing after being gone for months? This dude should be on a multi-year win streak. And then last night we get no fucking answers. Alexa Bliss has a little explanation. She now basically has the power. She doesn't need him. And she introduces Lily, her friend. And Lily is freakish. Lily's a little growing up, we had Chucky. Chucky was a dude where you were like, this dude's up to no good. You look at Lily and you're like, fuck. Well, that ain't no Cabbage Patch Kid. I liked the Alexa Bliss segment last night. I love the introduction of Lily. There's just one fucking issue. There's no more connection to the Fiend. It's almost like they're just separated now. Lily, obviously a female doll, so if that comes to life into like a Nikki Cross type character, then that's not a dude to take on the Fiend in the future. So what story are you basically telling? It's two females. If Lily was Lenny, and Lenny ended up being Aleister Black, for instance, that'd be badass. Yes, it would suck that somebody with a badass name like Aleister is now called Lenny. But at least he's a character in a big storyline, and we know he can dance. And him and Bray light it up. But it wasn't Lenny. It's Lily. So who the fuck does Alexa have taking on the Fiend in the future, if they are indeed separated? BC, wait, man, it's long-term storytelling. Trust me, I know Bray always has a plan. Vince does not, though. And he changes shit on a dime. And he tells you no when he originally told you yes. So the bottom line is, last night is when we needed major answers. And then you can start all these questions. Last night we had more questions than we did at Mania. And this is not good. Fuck! You introduce Lily. Awesome. Where's the connection to Bray? There was none. You literally just said you're on your own now. And then later in the returning Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt was acting like that's it. And soon we'll be reborn again. So he's talking about being reborn. We don't need another reborn Bray Wyatt. We've seen 10 versions. This one is working fine. This Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, is captivating people. Listen to the chants. Watch the reaction when he comes out live. Watch the cell phones. Look at the clicks. Look at the merchandise sales. The guy's a star. We don't need your reborn. We need this story to pick the fuck up and tell us why what happened at WrestleMania happened. It was a huge mistake. You needed to rectify it last night. I will always be behind Bray Wyatt. That's why I'm fucking ranting the way I am right now. This is because I love that dude. Bray Wyatt is a fucking beast when it comes to brilliance. A mastermind on the microphone. And a damn solid pro wrestler too. When he gets the fucking chance, when Vince isn't putting him in 6, 7, 8 minute matches to take an RKO loss. I think that was barely 7 minutes, if even. That's the least of my issues at WrestleMania. I love long-term storytelling. I always have confidence that Bray knows where shit's going. But after what happened at Mania, the truth is, we needed something huge last night. An in-ring segment and something massive planned. Instead, we had the introduction of Lily, and we had Bray saying he's gonna be reborn again. Stop being reborn! And held the old bastard in Stamford accountable. This has to stop. I've never seen a company, any company in the world, who has a fucking superstar, a rock star within their company, and they just don't want to push him to the heights that he can achieve. And if you allow him to, the company is going to win. The company will be winning and not losing like they are in the fucking ratings every week. Losing viewers by the fucking week. You look at Bray's segments, they're some of the only highest segments. Gee, I wonder why, Vince. Listen to the audience. Fuck. That's the cold open. I can go another fucking hour about it. We're traveling, obviously, Amp Unit. We're out in the world. We got a 4-hour voyage ahead of us, some business to take care of, and then a 4-hour voyage back. So this is, as you can tell by now, as you, I can speak. This is an audio format only, but you're gonna get full amplification, I assure you. And before we get this Monday Night Raw, April 12th, 2021 review underway, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my Amp Unit members for an awesome WrestleMania weekend, man. An awesome WrestleMania week with NXT takeovers and all the content we put out. Pro Wrestling for Dummies 101, the SmackDown review, the Raw review last week. We've been non-stop for about a week and a half now, and you guys have been there every step along the fucking way. I cannot thank you enough. I know that I was most likely the last reviewer to put out reviews, the good, the bad, and the ugly reviews for WrestleMania. I came late the next day on both days, and still thousands of you tuned into each fucking vid. That is rockstar status, man. It ain't just BC. It's the entire Amp Unit, and to new subs that jumped on board during this entire week. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found us. I pride myself and this channel on being the most truthful and honest and amplified in the community. The day that we're not is the day the channel ain't fucking happening. So just know in advance, buckle up, it will be a bumpy ride. If you can't handle that type of truth and amplification, this probably isn't the channel for you. But don't worry, there's a million other people trying to do this wrestling thing on this very platform, but you're gonna find out quickly if you haven't already, there's only one B motherfucking C amplified. What do you say we down the rest of this fucking coffee right from the jump and we go over Monday Night Raw, April 12th, 2021, the post-Mania Raw. Let's rock this bitch. Red team, go! And we're about to go jump on a locomotive in just a bit, amplified unit. But don't worry, it's not going to be the Strowman Express. I was able to avoid that, but you could hear some choo-choo, chugga-chugga during this review. Just letting you know, man, don't worry, it ain't the Strowman Express. Bobby Lashley starts this show defeating Matt Riddle. So think about that. Matt Riddle loses his title to Sheamus 24 hours earlier, and then he loses to Bobby Lashley last night for literally no reason. Back-to-back jobs. When just 24 hours earlier, he was a champion. Punishment for forgetting his lines 2 weeks ago and bailing on Asuka? Yup. Check that in that box. I wouldn't doubt it with Vince McMahon, dude. He's petty like that. I knew this dude was going to get some punishment. It looks like you're going to be jobber status for a little bit going forward. Next up, the former Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, they took on a returning Viking Experience. Why does the entire tag division completely suck, you ask? Well, here's a prime example. This big team returns, right? The Viking Raiders, War Machine, War Raiders, whatever name you want to call them. Weren't they the Viking Expedition before they even became the Viking Raiders? Or the Viking Adventure? Who knows what their name is these days? But this was once a feared tag team. They've been out of action for a while now. They come back, and they're right into a match with the fucking former Hurt Business. This big team returns. You could start a storyline with the Hurt Business. I gotta stop calling them the Hurt Business. Shelton and Cedric. You can start a big storyline with Shelton and Cedric that culminates at a pay-per-view. But no! Instead, on their very first night back, they defeat one of only 4 tag teams on the entire show. What the fuck? And the former Hurt Business is back to jobber status. Shelton and Cedric is back to jobber status. They had 2 of only 4 teams on the entire show face each other the very first night Viking Raiders are back. But don't worry, even though we just saw that match, we will see it 76 more times this year alone. I assure you, including at pay-per-views, because there is only 4 teams. So we're going to see this 76 more times this year. Mark those words. It's going to happen. And you're going to see it at pay-per-views, and then people are going to go, I don't know why people like BC are not intrigued by this pay-per-view. I don't know why people like BC are talking shit about this pay-per-view. I don't know what they're saying that there's no care or suspense or intrigue with these matches. And BC is I'm going to send you right back to a video like this, or to Monday Night Raws like this. And I'm going to say, didn't we already see this 76 times? Why do I need to see it at a big pay-per-view? Where I should be getting a fresh match with a huge culminating epic moment. I don't know, BC. You ask too much questions, you meanie. You fucking asshole. You YouTube asshole. I'd rather be an asshole and smart and honest than a good guy who's fake and bullshits. Anyway, welcome back, Viking Raider Experience Adventure Time Machine Adventure. Charlotte Flair then returns to Raw. Oh, my immediate thought when I heard that music was, oh shit. But in all honesty, she cut a damn solid promo, very personal, even blurring the lines between storyline and reality. Why she wasn't at WrestleMania, why she's booked the way that she is, and why from here on out we're getting the new Charlotte Flair. So it was a solid promo, but it's just gonna be more of the same. It was all bullshit. Charlotte Flair is going to be roadblocking the entire roster. We know that. And I love how this company tries to act like Charlotte's just grabbing those imaginary brass rings and nobody else wants to. You don't think fucking Asuka's trying? You don't think Shayna was trying? I think Shayna just gave up. I'm going to talk about that. I believe that's in hour number 2. Shayna, I don't blame her. She just gave up. Why not? If you're going to be booked like a clown, be the fucking circus sideshow. But this fucking delusional way of thinking within that company, that Charlotte's the only one in the women's division that's grabbing these imaginary brass rings. I'll tell you what's not imaginary. My fucking boot up Vince McMahon's ass. Anyway. Charlotte Flair's back. All right. She's talking about how great she is. She's a damn solid wrestler. We know that. There's areas that she doesn't check off. Her selling is inconsistent. There's times where she just does not want to sell. There's moves that she tries at least, which is cool, but she just cannot perfect it, like the moonsault. It's beautiful. Beautiful until the landing. And then that it factor to captivate. She's not captivating a huge portion of the audience. There's no connection. And in pro wrestling, there has to be. So we can all sit there and talk about her athleticism, but what about the other boxes she is not checking? So Charlotte Flair is absolutely a good wrestler. If you want to say great, dude, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'll give you great. How's that? But let's not act like she is the best. She's just not. You have to check off every fucking box. She talks about being a 13-time champion in 5 years. That's not good. I look at somebody who lost the championship 12 fucking times in less than 5 years. You're talking about winning it 13 times. I'm talking about losing it 12. How do you lose it 12 in just 5? The numbers don't add up. You're losing it just as quickly as you're winning it. Anyway, hour number 1 ends with a WrestleMania rematch for the Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. This was actually better than their WrestleMania match. But it was ruined by, guess who? You guessed, Charlotte! Charlotte just jumps in and starts whooping them both. Because she's fucking Mega Charlotte. So of course she can take out Rhea and Asuka. You can throw in Sasha, you can throw in Shayna, you can bring back Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, and Charlotte's gonna mow through them. I'm pretty sure Triple Threat Thompson, aka Adam Pearce, right? He loves to make triple threats these days. I'm pretty sure he'll involve Charlotte in everything. In fact, guess what this is gonna lead to, guys? A Backlash triple threat match, of course. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt if next week Triple Threat Thompson, aka Adam Pearce, comes out and he declares a triple threat for Backlash. Asuka, Rhea, Charlotte. I wouldn't doubt it. Because that's all this company knows how to do is create fucking schmazes. Hour number 2, we have Alexa Bliss in Alexa's Playground. She's still great at her character. I mean, the cold open, I'm furious with the way this is going down. I'm not furious with the performance of Bray and Alexa. I want to make that perfectly clear. They're fucking on an all-time level. When it comes to character and what they gotta do, bro, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss, 2 of the fucking best in the industry right now. They just are. So Alexa Bliss nailed it again. She talks whether she needed the Fiend or not, and she came to the conclusion she doesn't. And how along the way, I should say, she unlocks something truly evil, she said. She then introduces us to her new friend, Lily. And again, let's just say Lily is no Cabbage Patch Kid. In fact, if I was like Barbie and Ken and their whole clique, I'd find it best to say, check you later. And just run. Because this Lily doll does not look like she plays well with others. This will give fucking kids nightmares, dude. Alexa then says, trust us, our fun is just getting started. So, I mean, I love it. I love the trajectory of Alexa, her character. What I don't love is the just sudden split with Bray and no real answer up front. I'm down with the long-term storytelling. I'm down with 100 questions. It's intriguing, I get it. Especially with Bray and Alexa. But what happened at Mania, what needed to happen last night is a huge answer from the jump. The explanation of just, along the way I realized I don't need you. This is my new friend, this is my new direction. That I just, man, I can't, and I'm not even going to wait till hour 3. I'll just go into Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse right now because it makes sense. Let's just put them back to back. An hour later, or 45 minutes later, Firefly Funhouse returns. I actually missed all those little shits, I ain't gonna lie. Especially Ramblin' Rabbit. Abby the Witch was hilarious, man. In reference to Alexa Bliss, she said, I'm glad that bitch is gone. I never liked her. So, Abby the Witch, it was good to see. I like the Firefly Funhouse. I've said so many weeks when Monday Night Raw was so fucking tragic, which is usually, the Firefly Funhouse was the 3 minutes of saving grace. It was 3 minutes that was better than the entire 3 hours. So I always enjoyed the Firefly Funhouse. And I did again last night. I was just waiting for something big to be said, man. And instead, Bray just said that he feels great and soon he'll be reborn. I don't give a shit if we go back in time and he's Wyatt family Bray, or if he's The Fiend, or if he's Husky fucking Harris. He better not lose another fucking match in 2021. Bottom line, he's too good not to start picking up major pay-per-view wins. I don't need a reborn Bray. I need this Bray because he's badass, because he's captivating, because he's a superstar, and I need Vince McMahon to treat him as such. Here we go. We're getting amplified again. That was supposed to be left in the cold open, but consider that me reiterating it. We got no fucking true answer last night. A little bit of an explanation by Alexa was it. Bray, no answer at all. Bray gave us no fucking, he's just like, oh, that's over, tells his Firefly Funhouse to stop talking about her, and don't worry, I'm feeling great, we're gonna be reborn soon. The fuck? What about what happened at Mania? We need a reasoning right then, bro. That's the one time for Bray, I will say, halt the long-term storytelling for a second, and drop something huge. That needed to happen last night, and it didn't. And because this is a Bray Wyatt channel. This is a pro Bray Wyatt channel, just like it is a pro Sasha channel. This is tough love. We know when to put fandom aside. And if I'm going to be the most truthful, honest, amplified critic and reviewer in this community, then I will always be as honest as possible with you guys, even when it's some of my favorites. This is tough love right now. What we got last night was just not enough. In fact, not nearly in the realm of what we should have got. Anyway, back to hour number 2. Then we have Miz TV with Morrison and the return of Maryse. I always enjoyed the work of Maryse. I feel she could have been huge in this business, guys. Maryse had the look. She was actually decent in the ring, too. And she just had a presence. The music fucking fit with her too. Man, it was just like Melina. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember Melina. She used to be with John Morrison. And, she did the splits and the music and the way she walked and the way she carried herself, the aura. Melina was also captivating, and I feel her career for WWE anyway, she kept going a little bit. She still does some dates too before this whole pandemic, but Melina was one of those ones where WWE-wise got cut short way too soon, man. She had so much more to offer the business, and I just feel Maryse is in that same category. Anyway, Miz talks some shit about the Bad Bunny from WrestleMania. This brings out Bunny's tag team partner from Mania, Damian Priest, and they set up an impromptu match. First of all, I like the interaction between Damian and Miz on the microphone beforehand. That is worth mentioning. Miz is good, man. He gets a lot of shit because of horrible booking. But Miz is funny, man, and he does the best with what he's given. So I do have to give Miz some props. And John Morrison, too. John Morrison, this dude's a gem. Him and Miz, they work well together. I don't know, man. I just wanted to give them props, especially after WrestleMania. We're all giving Bad Bunny credit, but we also have to give credit to Miz and Morrison. And even Damian, because in a tag match, it takes 4 to tango. And especially Miz and Morrison for making Bad Bunny look that fucking good. That takes a lot of rehearsal. That takes a lot of patience. Miz and Morrison deserve a huge round of an amplified applause. And that's exactly what they're going to get from this channel, this unit, man. So just want to give a little bit of props to Miz and Morrison. Again, this little back and forth led to a handicap match with Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. Miz is wrestling in dress pants, a button down, and Gucci loafers. I mean, if that doesn't fit the Miz, I don't know what does. Because they weren't planning on having a match, and Miz was really selling the fact that he's in Gucci loafers. He can't fucking... Corey Graves is another gem I want to give a shout out to. Corey Graves is one of those dudes where I want to praise him one day and throw him through a wall the next. But Corey Graves, I didn't even mention this, guys, and I apologize. There was so much to talk about with the Bray thing and frustration. There's a new fucking Raw panel. Samoa Joe is out. Raw commentary team. Samoa Joe is gone. Still an active member of the roster, WWE has stated, but he is no longer a part of a commentary team. So, and then you have Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, and this new guy, Kirk. Arian Kirk or some shit. I'm just going to call him by his last name because that's all I remember. Kirk. He's from ESPN, I guess. And I always love Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. They always have great chemistry together, so it's really good to have them back together. And Corey Graves, man, he's just a gem. He really is, man. He brings me some of those Bobby Heenan vibes. Now, you're never going to be another Bobby Heenan, obviously, but I miss that heel commentator. Fuck this motherfucker. Look, catch your fucking train, motherfucker. You look in here again, I'm going to slap you silly. People looking at the amplified, man. What the fuck? Keep walking. Anyway, what was I talking about? Corey Graves. Yeah, he's I miss that old school heel commentator. That's what we need, man. Somebody who's going to pump up the heels with their words alone. Badass. He's out there going, he should be wrestling right now. He's in Gucci loafers. Why is this happening? This is a travesty of the highest proportion. Some shit, man. Corey Graves really selling it. I wanted to give props to him too, man. There was a lot of good that I saw here that needs to be in pro wrestling. So, yeah, new commentary team. As far as this Kirk guy, man, he needs a lot of work. I mean, the voice isn't just it's not a voice for pro wrestling commentary. I don't know how you guys feel, man. I know I'm seeing a lot of, give him a chance. He's new. But I'm saying the voice alone, it just doesn't sound like, I can't even hear him half of the fucking time. And it's too, I just don't know if he's going to be cut out. A lot of oh my goodnesses. That's when I know that somebody isn't naturally ready to tackle this shit. When you hear a commentator start off with 100 oh my goodnesses, usually they don't improve that much. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm willing to give the guy a chance. But this was not good last night at all, man. Like, in no box was he checked off in a good light. No box. And again, I couldn't even hear him half the fucking time. His voice is so soft and, oh my goodness, can somebody tell me what is happening? At the end of this night, I'm going to go over that later, but I don't know, bro. I'm hoping he gets way better. Not just better, way better. But good to have Corey Graves back, man. Again, Corey Graves is one of those dudes where I praise him one day and I want to throw him through a wall for saying something stupid the next. Anyway, back to the Miz. Miz, and he's dressing in his fucking Gucci shoes, his dress pants, and his button down. And by the end of the match, he's in his underwear. Don't ask. Anyway, I believe Damian Priest is the one who, it was a, well, before I get to the finish, I have to give more props. I have to. Morrison sold a hit the lights from Priest like a fucking champion. Morrison might not have a title, but the way he sells, man, and that's why I say to be a great pro wrestler, half of it is your defense and how you sell. If you can sell like a fucking champion for others, you just checked off one of the biggest boxes in pro wrestling. Major props to Morrison, man, on that hit the lights. I couldn't believe that. That would put somebody down for a 50 count. But that was not the end of the match. Miz hits... No, it wasn't even a skull crushing. Miz defeats Priest via the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Fruit Roll-Up. That's right, it wouldn't be a WWE show without a Fruit Roll-Up victory. Miz didn't even try to hide it. This dude had both feet on the top rope, guys. Not the bottom rope. The top fucking rope. Both feet. And the referee wasn't even looking at anything. This dude was counting to 3, and he had his mind at Domino's Pizza or some shit. Like what he's gonna have or when he hits catering and they got the brand new moose cake. This dude's got his face all up in that shit. Or maybe he's thinking about his girl and his face all up in some pie when he gets home. But this ref was looking at nothing in the ring. He was just counting. Anyway. This was actually fun for me, man. I just sat back and I was enjoying listening to Corey Graves' release. It just brought me back to old school heel commentators and those vibes. And I was just watching The Miz, he just made me laugh a couple of times. I was watching Morrison just be a fucking champ. And I was, trying to get back into Damian Priest the way I once was in NXT. I was never a true big fan of Priest, but he had some good moments, good matches, and I was really trying to feel that vibe. And I feel like last night he finally had his solo experience where he didn't have to be attached to Bad Bunny. A lot of people are saying, oh, he shouldn't have lost. What the fuck? Right after WrestleMania. But you know what? He won at Mania. Whether it was Bad Bunny taking the W or not, he won. That was his tag team. And this is against two fucking people. And you can't have Miz and Morrison losing all the fucking time, man. They have to start winning once in a while. Damian Priest, I don't feel, loses too much here. A lot of the people are still trying to I think he's still trying to grasp himself. So if you're going to take on two dudes at once, and that's going to be your first feud, there's worse I've seen in this company, trust me. I don't know, I just don't feel, there's some dudes that when they first get there, they cannot be picking up L's. Damian Priest is just a dude that in this situation, I was totally fine with it. Not once after he lost this did I think, oh no, he's buried, right? That's what everybody likes to say when somebody just gets to the roster and they lose a match. They're buried! Hour number 2 ends with Nia Jax, she enters those girls, and Shayna Baszler versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. This was so Vince McMahon. He clearly must have laughed his ass off when Mandy tripped during her Mania entrance. So now he's going to put it in a storyline and run that sumbitch into the ground. He had Nia Jax trip through the ropes to start this match, an obvious staged botch. And then during the match, had Nia trip on the ring apron. Another obvious staged botch. Then Mandy and Dana start laughing and literally just walk away from the match. What the fuck? Literally just walk away. You just stopped the match because Nia fell off the apron? This whole thing was fucking weird, man. And then you see Shayna. Shayna looks like a lost fucking dog who cannot find her fucking way back home. It is so sad to see Shayna Baszler wrestle these days. First of all, she has to dumb herself. That's not even shade to Mandy or Dana Brooke. Lana, I almost said. Is there a fucking difference anymore? It's not even shade to them, man. I give them respect. I love how they have been working their asses off to try to get better. That's great. Truly is. But when you have somebody the caliber of Baszler and they have to be in there time and time again with talent that is obviously lesser than them, that's just the truth. It's gotta suck and you gotta be disinterested after a while and just be disconnected from it. And you see Shayna, it's not just dumbing herself down her skill level anymore. It's like she's fucking lost and or just doesn't care. Watch Shayna Baszler in this match. She looked like a fucking clown. This is Shayna Baszler. Should be booked as one of the baddest motherfuckers in that division because she legit is. She looked like a fucking clown. And I can't even blame her if she just gave up. Because Vince has already given up on her. I can't... Fuck it. Can you really put her ass to the coals? Can you really say, what the fuck are you doing in there, Shayna? Or you just say, dude, I don't even blame you. Just try to get the fuck out of there soon. Let the contract go. And then I'm telling you right now, man. I don't say that for... That's what we like to say. Every time we think someone's buried or every time somebody's badly booked, we say they need to get the fuck out of the company. However, in this company, it's true 90% of the time. But one of the people that I can genuinely say that up front, outright, 100%, it's Shayna Baszler. She has no business being in a company like that. They don't know what to do with her. They don't. Anyway, they staged 2 Nia botches because Vince is probably getting his rocks off with this whole fucking fall from Mandy Rose at WrestleMania. So now we're going to play... Now Nia Jax is playing the buffoon. Nia Jax already has a million botches. Do we really need her staging botches now? Fuck! Just have her wrestle a match. You'll have what you need, Vince. Moving on, hour number 3 begins with MVP middle of the ring. After a short promo, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and Randy Orton hit the ring one by one and state their case as to why they should be next in line for Lashley's title. So of course, this brings out Triple Threat Thompson, aka Adam Pearce, who we all know loves making everything a triple threat schmaz. And he says Braun, Drew, and Randy will main event Raw later in a triple threat match. No, we didn't see that coming, Triple Threat Thompson. And he says the winner will face Bobby at WrestleMania Backlash. How original. That's right. It's called WrestleMania Backlash, by the way, because Vince is going to try to milk the name WrestleMania any which way he can now. That's the new thing they're doing. Everything is attached to WrestleMania. WrestleMania SmackDown was Friday. WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, WrestleMania Backlash. We'll have WrestleMania Money in the Bank, WrestleMania SummerSlam, WrestleMania In Your House, WrestleMania Halloween Havoc, WrestleMania Super Showdown, WrestleMania Fuck Off! Anyway, where was I? Getting off track a little bit here. Oh yeah, Triple Threat Thompson makes this triple threat for later in the night. Woohoo! Doggy! Can't wait. How entertaining. Another schmaz match in WWE. Didn't see that coming. Next up, New Day versus Jackson Ryker and Elias. Pre-match, they held a pretty good back and forth on the mic, I will say. Everybody's mic game, for the most part, was solid last night. Kofi and Xavier were feeling it for sure, man. They seemed extra amplified. And sometimes it just goes too long and they're just too fucking much, you know? Sometimes it's too much. I love to amplify, but when you're just yelling just to yell and there's no real purpose and you're just blowing the fucking trombone, trumpet, saxophone, whatever the fuck this dude's blowing on, and you're just doing it sometimes it's just goofy. Last night, I felt real passion. Like, they really got beef with Ryker and Elias, and they're really going to show them right there because they just lost their titles at WrestleMania. They're pissed off. You know, it was believable, and they were going to showcase their talent to the world. Just in case anybody forgot, like Ryker and Elias, I really enjoyed the promo with Kofi and Xavier last night. Just like Big E, man. I love when people can get serious for a second, get amplified, and really get people intrigued and invested. Not everything has to be a comedy act just because you're the New Day. Not a bad tag match either, actually. Jackson and Elias finally look like pro wrestlers, which is cool, and not jobber bums. And New Day still beat them, though. but at least they look good. Elias and Ryker at least look good, man. First time in a long time. But again, New Day beat them. And it was a good performance by everybody. So I actually was not... I don't have anything bad to say about this match. Firefly Funhouse I already went over. That followed that in hour number 3. I went over that already because I felt it coincided with Alexa's Playground segment. And then we went into the main event, Triple Threat Thompson's schmaz match. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Braun Strowman. Pretty sure new Raw commentator Kirk called McIntyre the Celtic Warrior. So clearly Graves had to inform the rookie that that's a different wrestler. No, Kirk, that is Sheamus, and in the ring right now is Drew McIntyre. That's not the Celtic Warrior. That's the Scottish Terminator. Well, he's got 100 nicknames, actually. He's got 100 nicknames, and somehow this new commentator called him the one dude he's not. Called him the Celtic fucking Warrior. Anyway. Who the fuck won this thing anyway? I totally fucking, Postman. Oh yeah, McIntyre. How did I forget this? McIntyre. McIntyre defeats Randy Orton, guys. Hold on. Can I please? So let me get this straight. We're just getting the same match at WrestleMania Backlash that we got at WrestleMania then. I thought they were just going to insert Braun, which I don't know if people would give a shit about, but I understand he just beat Shane McMahon. Okay. Maybe he gets a shot. Randy Orton just beat the Fiend, the fucking Fiend, at WrestleMania. I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're throwing him in there, maybe a heel versus heel, but maybe Bobby will look more of a face. I don't know. But it makes sense, he just beat the Fiend. So you have him just beat the Fiend, and then 24 hours later, you have him flat on his back looking up at the lights to lose to Drew McIntyre just so Drew can have a rematch. What the fuck does that do for Randy? And in all of this, you just made Bray Wyatt look more like a fucking idiot, Vince. None of it made sense! Fuck, I can't. I can yell till the fucking cows come home, till you're blue in the fucking face, and it wouldn't make a fucking difference with this old bastard. Post-match, T-Bitch and Bad Boys Mace. That's right, T-Bar and Mace, they come out and they choke slam McIntyre, still with their goofy masks on. So even now, no, we had Retribution disperse. They're the same! They're probably gonna be even worse now! T-Bitch and Bad Boys Mace chokeslam McIntyre, and even worse, commentary is overselling the shit out of it like it's actually a big deal. They're like, why did this happen? New guy Kirk. New guy commentator Kirk is like, guys, could somebody please tell me, what did I just see? He said shit like that. It was the most cringeworthy commentary I've ever heard in 30 plus years covering this fucking product. I couldn't believe how bad commentary was for the... So I was giving them praise earlier in the review, and they shit the bed on this, but I can't blame them. They're trying to sell T-Bitch and Bad Boys Mace. Fuck, that's your show. I got a train to catch. BC, holla at ya boy, I'm out. Think, be, live, amplify, amp unit. Check your leader.